Hey everyone, this is Virdelet here, and today we have a battle against TheSuperLPBro. This is an Elite 4 battle, which means that this person has defeated all the 8 gym leaders from the Lithio League and then beat the 3 Elite 4, and then he goes to me. Obviously he has 3 tries against me. If I defeat him 3 times, he's out. So I'm going to speed up the first 2 battles because, kind of spoiler alert, as you can see, I do win in them, but I want to just cover the highlights and cover them quickly because they were also very good battles. So he leads off with Charizard, as I lead off with Impala, and I expected him to be Charizard X, but he's Charizard Y and he smacks me with Overheat, so there's no way I could live that. I was planning to go for Stealth Rocks and then roar him out because I can live in Earthquake. Then I go into my Azumarill because he's Overheat, that means he will not Solar Beam. I go for Player Off, predicting Venusaur to come in as it would do more than Waterfall in the stun, but he does get off nice damage. I go for Dragon Claw here because he does have the Hydreigon. I don't want to Earthquake and miss. So I go into my Metagross because it's the perfect opportunity to Mega Evolve, because if I don't Mega Evolve, his Charizard is going to outspeed me. And if you think Metagross is banned just because Showdown doesn't let you play with it, no, it's actually during Suspect Test, so it's not really banned, they're just Suspect Test again. So I go into Azumarill, as he goes for Sleep Powder, and he does miss. I honestly predicted Hidden Power Fire when I switched to Azumarill on the Venusaur, which he does reveal. So I was trying to stall out the sun, but he does have Sleep Powder, which kinda sucks. He goes for Hidden Power Fire, I can take that. Although I could go for Draco, but I do predict the Chansey to come in. I go for Super Power, I do have White Herb, which restores my attack, and I go for another Super Power and take out the Chansey. 2 awesome hits with this, so he thinks I'm -1 and I'm fully physical, except that I do have Draco, and I smack him with Draco as he Shell Smash, so he's been nullified because I do have Aqua Jet on Azumarill. I do switch out to sack my Mega Metagross as it's at such a low range, and then I go into my Azumarill. He goes for Ice Shard knowing that the Aqua Jet is coming, so I do kill him as he gets off some chip damage. He goes into his Venusaur. I'll not stay in against the Venusaur. I switch in as the Sleep Clause is gone because Mega Metagross is dead. He does put my Hydreigon to sleep, goes for Sludge Bomb, does way too much because of Life Orb, but then he goes for another Sludge Bomb and does take my Hydreigon out. I go into my Garchomp, just go straight up for Earthquake, Outrage, because I couldn't risk him living the Earthquake, I think. So he does finish me off with Bullet Punch. I go into my, knowing that he's Choice Banded, I go into my, this thing which has Hidden Power Fire. I go for Rock Tomb, but I do miss, which kinda sucks, but it's not too irrelevant. And then he goes for Draco. I do miss another Player Off, which kinda sucks. He goes into his Scissor, and I go for Player Off, and I manage to take him out. And then he goes into his Dragon. I go for Player Off, and it does take him out. And this will win me the game. He comes back, obviously he has 1 substitute, so he changed Cloyster, seeing that I have Empoleon, so it's kind of useless. Change it for Slowbro. Obviously he has 3 potential Megas, but I'm expecting Charizard, since Charizard on its own is the most useless. Even Venusaur puts a lot of work without being Mega. So battle number 2. He lead off with Charizard as I lead off with Garchomp this time. I am Focus Sash. I go for Star Dance because even if you wanted to Dragon Dance, I'm still Sashed. I go for Star Dance and he goes into Slowbro. I go for Earthquake because Ice Beam will not take me out because of the Sash. I do live with the Focus Sash. I do decide to go for Dragon Claw because even though he has the Rocky Helmet, which he didn't reveal yet, but I expected him since he has no leftovers, I still go for Dragon Claw to take out the Hydreigon and do predict Hydreigon on the switch. He goes for Choice Banded Bullet Punch as I switch in my Empoleon that double resist the Steel. Goes into his Charizard as I set up the rocks. I expected him to be wild like last time, so I just decided to switch out. I don't want to be bopped by Overheat, but he's Charizard X. But that's okay because Hydreigon is the most expendable after showing my secret of superpower. Expendable, not expandable. Anyways, he goes for Dragon Claw, taking me out. Like I said, I can live a +1 Earthquake, which I do live. I go for Roar because I don't want him to be out to +1. Goes into his Scissor, and at this point I let him take me out because I want to know what he locks himself into. Locking himself into Knockoff, I go into Azumarill because I can take that pretty damn well. He goes into his Venusaur as I make the double into Garchomp. I could have made the double into Metagross and smacked him with Zen Headbutt, but first of all, I'm not Mega Evolved, so he's faster. Second of all, if he decides to go for Bullet Punch, Knockoff, I don't want Mega Metagross to be hurt. Since he's at low range, I can go for Bullet Punch to get my speed boost, even though he's faster, but Bullet Punch will finish him off, obviously. Goes into his Metagross Slowbro, expecting to fully wall me, except that I have the Grass Knot, which takes him out. It's boosted by Tough Claws, if you did not know that. And then he goes into his Scissor, and Scissor will destroy me with Knockoff. So I decide to go into Tangrowth, which is not physically defensive, but max HP. Knockoff doesn't do over half, and he goes into his Chansey. I go for Rock Tomb. I am fully special, but I do have these 2 moves because they're awesome. I go for Knockoff and knock out the UV Light, which is super awesome. I decide to switch out, go into my Steel Blue as he goes for Seismic Toss. It will not do much, and then I go for Meteor Mash, and this Meteor Mash will just take him out. Goes into his Charizard, I go for Zen Headbutt, but unfortunately I do miss, another miss, and he goes for Earthquake, taking me out, but that's okay because Azumarill fully walls Charizard X. He goes for Earthquake, it doesn't do much. I go for Waterfall, take him out, Choice Banded Waterfall, goes into his Scissor, and then I go for, he goes for Banded Bullet Punch. I do live that. Even if I didn't live that, that's irrelevant because in the back I have a Hidden Power Fire Kangaroo. He's locked into Bullet Punch, so he can't take me out. So this is his final and last try. If he wins, like I said, he beat the 3 Elite Four before me, and if you didn't notice, my theme is mono blue, by the way. This is my Elite Four theme. Or blue color. So if he beats me, he's going to battle the champion. If he loses, he's out of the entire league until next season, so he can try again against the gym leaders. So he did tell me that he wanted to get the battle done with right after the second battle, but I told him I need to prepare just for the sake of the people I've beaten before. Like, I really felt for this guy. I wanted him to win because he's doing well, but at the same time, I can't let him win or take the win so easily. I will do my best to stop him. So he leads off with Slowbro, predicting my Garchomp lead from last time. I do lead with Garchomp again, but that's okay because Empoleon is a completely safe switch in unless he's Calm Mind Fire Blast. I go into Empoleon and he goes for Ice Beam. Ice Beam doesn't do much since it obviously double resisted, and I have leftovers. Luckily I don't get frozen even though I have Scald to remove the frozen, but I do set up the rocks. He has nothing to remove the stealth rocks, so I'm in a good position. He decides to stay in, seeing that this Empoleon is kind of pisky and annoying, so he goes for Thunder Wave and paralyzes me. Thank God I do have the rocks up, so Charizard is really weakened right now, especially that it didn't evolve into X yet, or being at X or Y. So go for Scald here because I don't want to switch anything into Slowbro. I just want to get the burn, so Grass Knot would kill this Slowbro. Chip damage, you know, it would help me a lot. He goes into his Scissor, and honestly, I went for Roar because I wanted to sabotage. I know obviously he's gonna switch out since he can't touch the Empoleon, especially since I'm paralyzed, he can't try and burn me with Scald. So he goes for Superpower. I decided to leave Empoleon in because I couldn't risk anything dying outside of Empoleon. Him having Cloyster as a substitute and Charizard being with the Stealth Rocks, I don't see Empoleon being super useful. So I'm going to my Azumarill knowing that he's locked into Superpower, and even if he's not, he's still a Choice Bandit. Goes into Venusaur, and I changed my moves from last time. I slapped Ice Punch, and Ice Punch, predicting the Venusaur to come in. Obviously it doesn't have Tick Fat, so this does insane damage. I go for Aqua Jet. He can't switch out because of the Stealth Rocks. Aqua Jet does kill. This is a critical hit. I really doubt that this mattered since, you know, it's Azumarill, huge power and all of that, and he's not even Mega Venusaur, and he's probably offensive. So he goes into Slowbro. I don't want to take a Skull to the face or even a Paralysis because Azumarill is the most effective member against this team, as we've seen last 2 times. It is the one that finished his team. Goes for Thunder Wave against me. Even if he has Ice Beam, he will not take me from full health. I changed Assault Vest I changed Azumarill from Choice Band to Assault Vest, and I changed this guy from Assault Vest to the berry that weakens the bug type moves. So honestly, I predicted him to go for U-turn. I really didn't see Bug Bite coming at all. I went for Grass Knot on the Slowbro, as it does kind of good damage to Scissor, seeing as how it's double resisted. He goes for Bug Bite. I eat the berry that weakens the bug. As I do have Hidden Power Fire, but I really went for Rock Tomb, Knockoff, predicting something else to come in. I do knock off the Choice Band, which is awesome, but he will take me out. I have no safe switch-ins. Maybe I should have preserved this thing, but I couldn't risk him since his band is lost. He could have gone for knockoff or something. Going to my Indigo and Denim. I'm not specially invested. I'm max physical attack, but I do have Dark Pulse and Draco. So go for Dark Pulse. And this does not kill, which is in a way awesome because, like I said before, I need to evolve Mega Metagross to outspeed the Charizard. So switch in, predicting another Bullet Punch. He would obviously go for Bullet Punch, sacking this thing off since he can't come on the rocks. And Bullet Punch doesn't do shit. I Mega Evolve and I go for Bullet Punch. Obviously I'm faster, so I will not take more damage. Had he predicted that and went for knockoff, would have been a great deal, but luckily he just goes for Bullet Punch because it's the safer play, which I'm with him on this one. So go for Bullet Punch, take out the Scissor, and I do manage to Mega Evolve successfully, which is awesome. Goes into his Hydreigon, which is 99% of the time Scarfed. I decide to switch out because I don't want to take that. Assault Vest Azumarill is a complete wall to Hydreigon, like you don't even imagine. He goes for Dark Pulse, doesn't do shit, as I can here fire off Waterfall or Player Off because the switch is obvious. Goes into his Slowbro, as I go for Player Off, like I said, and Player Off unfortunately is not a 2-hit KO. But it does do some good damage. And then I decide to switch out because, like I said, I don't want to be T-Waved. I do predict the T-Wave to come in. He will not go for Ice Beam. I don't think he has Scald. He hasn't shown Scald just yet. He goes for T-Wave. Garchomp is not affected. I go for Sir Dance. He does know that I'm Sash, and he goes for Ice Beam to break the Sash. And I wanted to go for Dragon Claw, but I know that he has the Rocky Helmet, so I couldn't risk it. I went for Earthquake. Had he switched into Hydreigon right now, it would have been a wasted turn, but he goes into his Charizard, and I knew that he was baiting me to go for Dragon Claw, to touch the Slowbro's Rocky helmet, but instead I decided to go for Outrage, since if I go for Earthquake and he Mega Evolves with or Dragon Dances with Charizard without Mega Evolving, I will lose a lot. And if I go for Dragon Claw and he goes into Slowbro, I will lose a lot. So I just go for Outrage, because Outrage is enough to take Slowbro at +2, while Dragon Pulse can't take it out. So I do go down, and Slowbro goes down. Nice play on his part, but at the same time, I do take that Slowbro out, which is a huge threat. I go into my Mega Metagross because it's such a good switch in. He goes into his Chansey, and Chansey will not afford to take a Meteor Mash. Goes into his Charizard, sacking this thing off just to get a safe switch in into his Hydreigon. I do go for Meteor Mash, take this thing out. I do get the boost, which unfortunately doesn't matter because Hydreigon is scarfed, and going for Bullet Punch will not take it out from this range. Goes into his Hydreigon, and I decide to switch out. He only has Chansey and Hydreigon at this point. I do have a Zoomerl, my White Herb Hydreigon, and I do have my Mega Metagross, obviously. Goes for Dark Pulse, doesn't even take me to yellow because Assault Vest Zoomerl is a thing. I go for Flare Off, predicting the Chansey to come in, and it's about over for him, because as you can see, this Flare Off does a lot of damage, even though this Chansey taking hits way too well. It has base 5 defense, what the fuck. So I decided to go for Waterfall because I missed a lot of 10% chance moves. I didn't want to risk it, but he does live with like a smidgen of HP, and I was like, okay, let's go for Flare Off and kill him. It did more than half the first time, but it doesn't do that. I think this was a low roll or something. He does go for another Soft Boil, and I'm like, okay, I can't let this Azumarill die because Hydreigon will just run loose against my team. Go into Steel Blue. As he Soft Boils, it's obvious I will win this Stall War. He can't Toxic me, and Meteor Mash will eventually get me the boost if he tried to Soft Boil. I do miss my Meteor Mash, which kinda sucks. He goes for Seismic Toss, and it takes me down to almost yellow. I'll go for Meteor Mash, get some decent damage off, same damage as the Play Rough. Eventually I'll get the boost, as he will try to Soft Boil. Anyways, this battle is mine, and even if he kills me and he remains at threat health, I will just switch into anything. But I do miss another Meteor Mash, which really sucks. This is not a 10% chance to miss move. That's a lie. Even though I do have the 50% chance to get the boost, I still don't get the boost. Goes for Seismic Toss, taking my Mega Metagross out, and I had nothing to do with it. And this is one of the downside of being an Elite Four and facing the same person 3 times. He does know that I have the White Herb. I go for Superpower, and like I said, he knows that I have the White Herb, and he lives with like a smidgen amount of HP. I bet that was 1 or 3. No, that's Chansey. It's probably 100 HP right there. But he does go for Soft Boil, and like I said, he lives the Superpower, which kinda sucks, but I do have the White Herb, so I have another shot. If I get the maximum roll, he's out of the way. I do not get that roll, and he still lives, and he goes for Soft Boil, knowing that my attack is a minus. So at this point, I can bank on 2 things. Either crit from Superpower or a flinch from Waterfall. I will not bank on the crit because, first of all, crit will only has a 6% chance, while flinch from Waterfall has a 10% chance. So this has more chances than that one. So here I go for Waterfall, and this Waterfall doesn't do much, and I'm still looking for that flinch. Obviously no flinch. He goes for Seismic Toss, and I have another shot to go at this. Luckily I do live by 59 HP, which means the next Seismic Toss will only do 50, and I will live with 9 HP. I go for Waterfall, and I hope to get the flinch. I don't get the flinch, and he goes for Soft Boil, knowing that these are my intentions. I can't go for Flare Off because if I miss, it's over. And I need this Azumarill with at least 1 HP. This will guarantee that he can't lock himself into Draco Meteor since I'm immune, and Hydreigon will beat his Scarfed Hydreigon. So, I do go for Waterfall, again, hoping for a flinch, hoping for that 10% chance, which I lost a lot with Mega Metagross, and I still don't get that. He goes for Seismic Toss. Like I said, I do live, and even though Hydreigon can kill me with a Dark Pulse, like I said, he will lock himself into Dark Pulse, and this is my final opportunity. Final opportunity to get the flinch on his Chansey, and 10% chance is nothing to look forward to, but it's worth it. It's worth it. After this Waterfall, I can just go for Flare Off or Waterfall, and I don't get the flinch. And he goes for Seismic Toss, but the battle is not over, because if he does not have Dragon Pulse, if he has Draco Meteor, there is a 10% chance also to miss. So I go for Acrobatics because it's my safest move here. Take him out, and then I do have Superpower for his Hydreigon right now. He goes into his Hydreigon. Like I said, if he does miss his Draco, or if he doesn't have Dark Pulse, he goes for Draco Meteor, and unfortunately he does land the Draco, and does finish the battle. It was a really good battle. It was like super hexy near the end, unfortunately, but he really did play well. It's not like he snagged a win like plainly due to hacks. He did all he could and he did the best he could, and the hacks just gave him enough push to win this battle. It goes for Dracon. He wins his last try, so congratulations to him, as he will go and face Xenon, our champion of the Lithio. So go to Xenon's channel to watch the battle, and yeah, see you later, guys.